to the studio, and TRT World's Turkey analyst Yusuf Erim joins us now live. Thanks for coming in. This was not part of Turkey's plan.
Definitely not part of Turkey's plan. Following Trump's announcement of the U.S. withdrawal in Syria, we saw the U.S. and Turkey start working together, highly coordinating this withdrawal into what we could basically call a handover of responsibility in the fight against Daesh. And what we're seeing right now, this regime move into Manbij, is going to greatly hamper Turkey's movement as they try to head south to fight Daesh. So this is very, very important, hampering and maybe quite possibly sparking a Daesh revival in the upcoming months. Also, this is a move by the regime trying to drive a wedge between the U.S. and Turkey as they are now working together east of the Euphrates during the handover process. And another very important thing to remember is Assad, probably one of his motivating factors is he's eyeing the weapons that the YPG has, courtesy of the United States. Of course, when the YPG enters, when the regime enters into this YPG-held territory, Assad will most likely want to gather these weapons again. But another very important thing that opens the question, how did the Assad regime get into Manbij when there is U.S. presence in there? That's another question that's open interpretation right now.
Okay, I mean, I would assume that the U.S. forces know they're leaving soon, so they've been ordered to be docile, and the YPG has accepted that they're not going to get much more help from the U.S. forces that do technically remain on the ground but are not active. But the bigger point is that Russia just yesterday said, let this happen. Let the Assad regime take control again of Manbij and the areas east of the Euphrates. So what happened to Turkey-Russia discussions to at least give some time to what Turkey had hoped to do to shore up its security in northern Syria?
Syria is very complicated. There's different dynamics in different regions. Just because you're working with a certain partner in one area doesn't mean you're working with that partner in another area as well. And we have to wait and see tomorrow when top-level meetings between the Turks and the Russians take place, why this move happened, why the Kremlin approved such a move or congratulated the regime on such a move. Now, what this Turkish operation east of the Euphrates, even though it never happened yet, what it accomplished, even the threat of it to the YPG, it accomplished the YPG taking autonomy, taking the word confederation off the table. And it was probably the single most important factor over the last year or two in keeping Syria's territorial integrity together.
Okay.
The YPG wanted a statelet. This is no secret. We've heard it from the SDF spokesman, from the YPG spokesman, and Turkey's the threat of a Turkish operation has taken that off the table. And this is very important for Russia and Turkey, who are together in the Astana process, keeping Syria together in one piece.
Is there any sort of fear, though, in Turkey that the regime would allow the YPG to flourish, if I can use that word, in any way that could prove a threat to Turkey's security going forward?
The YPG has flourished under the regime rule early in the conflict, before the conflict. Bashar al-Assad's father, Hafiz Assad, is one of the helped found the PKK, the mother organization of the YPG, which is a listed terror group by the U.S., the EU, and Turkey. So the YPG will be able to flourish under the Assad regime and continue to be a national security threat for Turkey. And this was one of the reasons why Turkey wanted to launch this operation east of the Euphrates to end this terror threat once and for all. So this protection by Assad will only create more animosity between Turkey and Syria if it's not solved.
Okay. But if there could be a positive side, and you can call me naive, could this potentially allow for Turkey to avoid a military operation in northern Syria going forward, not put its own troops at risk, and allow the regime to keep the YPG under control and basically return to the status quo pre-2011?
Turkey would need some serious guarantees from Syria for something like that to even be accepted. And right now, I don't think Assad has that type of relationship, which is non-existent with Turkey. And I don't even think Turkey would accept Assad's promises right now to have the YPG stand down or disarm the YPG. And regardless, I don't think Turkey would even want U.S. weapons in the hands of the regime. You have to remember that Turkey is not just representing itself and its own national security concerns. It's also representing the 3.5 million Syrian opposition refugees in Turkey and the near 4 to 5 million, maybe 6 million Syrian opposition under Turkey's protection, the Olive Branch, Operation Euphrates Shield, and Idlib areas. Now, they have their interests, and they've been forgotten about right now. That land, Manbij, is Syria's. It's not Assad's. It's not the opposition's. It's Syria's. And the opposition is part of Syria. There are many in the opposition, many who are seeking refuge in Turkey that have come from Manbij and that have come from east of the Euphrates who need to return home, and they can't do that under YPG control.
Okay, Yusuf, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for coming in.